What do you have? Come on.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Emily and this is my April wrap-up in replacement of a week 4 vlog for either the Owls or Camp Nano. I keep telling myself that I will upload videos around midterms. Every quarter I tell myself I'll do it, and every time it feels like I get bulldozed by homework. I had an hour-long presentation this week. It was a group presentation, but it was an hour long. An hour! I can't talk about anything for an hour. Except books. And writing. And publishing. Not my point. In April I had a goal of writing 20,000 words for Camp Nano. Obviously that did not happen. What I did write was my outline and the first 4,000 words of my novella. Was this what I wanted? Obviously not. Am I going to be too hard on myself? No, because you know what? I hardly ever write during school as it is, and now I got the hardest part out of the way, which is the beginning of the story. The beginnings are always super tough, and now I have an outline and a solid 4,000 words. I'm going to try to finish that novella within a week or so it can sit and sort of get some space away from my brain while I finish up the quarter and work on my short story collection. That's pretty much my writing wrap-up. In April I read 5 books, although I still didn't manage to finish the Owls readathon. Good job, self. Good job, self. Amazing. Most of the reason why this happened was because I picked large books to read for the Owls and then realized that wasn't going to work, so I sort of switched into reading shorter fiction and a little bit of non-fiction. So I failed the Owls, but I did read words. Let's talk about the words I read. The first 3 books that I finished this month, I did an entire vlog about them, so I'm not going to talk about them all that much. I'm going to try to turn this around gracefully. Is the Shadow and Bone series by Leigh Bardugo. Like I said, there's a long vlog about this. It's pretty funny. I'm very proud of myself for that vlog. But to sum up, I gave this 4 out of 5 stars, I gave this 3.5 out of 5 stars, and I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed this series. It's not on my top favorites list like Six of Crows is, but it was still really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Go watch the vlog up there or up there. I don't know. The next thing I read was Little Birds by Hanna Kidder. This is a very short story collection. It took me maybe a half an hour to get through. Hanna Kidder is a fellow author-tuber. I encourage you to go check out her channel. She's pretty great. This is her self-published collection of short stories. They're all very tiny. Some of them are really vignette style, no more than a paragraph or two. Some are a little bit longer. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was great. I enjoyed all of the stories. There wasn't one that I actually disliked, and that's pretty tough to do in a short story collection. My favorite one, I think, would have to be He Wrote Me a Song. I remember her saying on her channel that a lot of people like that story, and I definitely get why. All the stories are very atmospheric and emotional. Hanna is a wonderful writer, and I encourage you to check it out. It's a quick, easy read. The next book I read is a novella by Corey White. It's called Killing Gravity. This novella started off as pretty promising for me, and I ended up moderately enjoying it. Let me break it down for you. The basic premise of this is the main character is a void witch. She can control things with her mind, kill people with her mind. It's a very hard sci-fi book, but there's that fantasy element to it. I thought this book was okay. It was light on the world building, pretty heavy on the character development, which was good. I liked the side characters way more than the main character. I gotta say, the main character was trying way too hard to be edgy. The moment a character says ball sack, I am immediately less impressed by them as a character. Before you come at me with that, I would like to bring to the table that The Savior's Champion and Winter's Fury are two of my favorite books. The Savior's Champion I gave 5 out of 5 stars. It's one of my favorite books of all time. Winter's Fury I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to ordering the sequels. Those books are very rated R. There's lots of swearing, there's lots of crude jokes. I didn't particularly care for all that crude language in those books, but the fact that it was there felt like it sort of fit naturally into the world. This book just had weird, random moments where the character was like, ooh, that person's a freak. Ugh, that person is so weird. I am automatically less inclined to like the story. That's just me. If the author ever sees this video, I'm sorry. You're allowed to swear in your books. It's just personally not my thing. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. We're gonna move on. The next book I read was a nonfiction book. It's called Romancing the Beat by Gwen Hayes. This is also a very short book, which could have counted for an Owl's book because it has white on the cover, just saying. This book gives an outline on how the author, who is a best-selling romance writer, sort of goes beat by beat through a romance book. I enjoyed this immensely. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I feel like there's not the same rating scale for nonfiction as there is for fiction. Obviously, there's no like flowery language and character development and world building. I judge nonfiction books by what I got out of them and what I learned. I feel like Romancing the Beat was a very useful story structure tool, especially for someone like me who's never actually set out to write just a romance on its own without major fantasy elements in there. Romance is better with dragons. The author was also pretty funny and clever, so highly recommend this. There are also several books this month that I started and didn't finish, one of which, once again, was Once Upon a River. This book, I got farther into it than I did last time. One of these days, this is going to become a running joke on my channel until I finally finish this book. The next thing I partially read is A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. I got maybe an hour or an hour and a half into the audiobook for this. All I can say is that I'm not super enjoying Delilah's point of view. I'm not thrilled by her as a character, and the book sort of started out with her as the protagonist. But then Kel jumped back in, and I was enjoying it much more. Like I said about the first book, I really enjoy like the brotherly relationship between Kel and Rye. I love sibling relationships in books, and usually they're not done very well, or they're just done where the siblings are just at each other's throats, and finding like loving, healthy sibling relationships that are also dynamic and interesting is so rare, and so far that looks like it's going to be a big part of what the book is about. So really I'm just looking forward to that more than anything. So those were the books I finished, the books I didn't finish, and the words I read in April. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ding the little notification bell. It really helps my channel. I upload videos on Mondays or Fridays, sometimes both days, except when homework kills me. I'd love to hear from you all in the comments about what you read or wrote this past month, and I will see all of you guys next week. Bye!